Now let's begin by telling you that the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetogun, has ordered a probe into the stampede at a food distribution event in Abuja and Anambra State, as at least 10 persons died and many others were injured during the distribution of food items to vulnerable and elderly individuals at the Holy Trinity Catholic Church in Maitama, Abuja. 3 persons were also confirmed dead and several others were wounded in a philanthropic drive in Okija, Anambra State. The Anambra death toll has since risen to 22. Authorities are calling for calm while the injured are being treated following the stampede in Abuja. Now, in the wake of the incidents, IGP Egbetokun said negligence on the part of those distributing the items is criminal. At a press conference in Abuja, the spokesman of the Nigerian police force, Muyiwa Dejobi, quoted the IGP as mandating all police commissioners in the affected states to probe the incidents. The police have also warned the public against organizing unauthorized events. Similarly, the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, has condemned the recent spate of stampedes at food distribution centers across the country, resulting in the loss of at least 67 lives. In a statement, CAN President Daniel Oko expressed heartfelt sympathies to the families of the victims and described the incidents as a troubling pattern. The stampedes occurred in Abuja, Anambra, and Oyo, with the latest incident happening at Holy Trinity Catholic Church in Abuja, where 10 people lost their lives. Earlier, we were joined by public policy expert Kenneth Ikenwa, who shed light on key ways to prevent the incidence of stampede deaths.
Speaks to about 3 or 4 major issues which we must bring to the fore. The first is the poverty rate in Nigeria. If we didn't have a humongous poverty rate in the excess of about 60 to 70%, both multidimensional poverty and abject poverty, we won't be having people rushing to places like this just to get a derrick of rice, a derrick of beans for their living. Second, it speaks to the deepening low level of economic freedom in this country. It means that the freedom with which people are supposed to move from one level or state of standard of living to the other is getting darker and darker, and the economic hardship actually tells us more about why this is the situation. And there is a lack of distributive justice, and that is why we see that rather than bring so many people out of poverty with the kind of resources that we have, we are taking them further and further into poverty. And finally, very pathetically, it is a justification for what ought not to be in Nigeria, which is reverse Pareto optimality. And what does that mean? There's reverse social efficiency. Events like this, for instance, are supposed to come with a lot of marginal social benefits, but we are beginning to see that they are coming with marginal social cost, and the cost elongating itself, extending itself to taking a lot of innocent lives out of Nigeria.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has described the 3 recent food stampedes in Nigeria as an ugly testament to the alarming level of misery, poverty, hunger, starvation, sense of hopelessness, and desperation for survival currently plaguing our nation under the President Bola Tinubu-led All Progressives Congress government. Now, in a statement on Sunday, PDP spokesman Debo Ologunaba said the tragic stampedes at private food distribution events in Oyo and Anambra states, as well as Abuja, which claimed the lives of over 60 citizens, could have been averted. The PDP commiserated with the families of the victims of the 3 food queue stampedes and called for urgent medical attention for the survivors. Still on the stampede, a fun fair event intended to bring joy to thousands of children in Ibadan, Oyo State, ended in tragedy on the 18th of December as 35 children lost their lives in a stampede. The incident occurred at an Islamic high school in the heart of Ibadan, where the event was held. News Central's Igbalani Omoni provides further details.
According to eyewitness, the venue, an Islamic high school in Ibadan, Oyo State, was overwhelmed with residents from far and near, all attempting to gain entry for their children. Many had arrived a day before the event, with some even sleeping at the venue in anticipation. The event, which was meant to be a private fun fair for approximately 5,000 children aged 1 to 13, was reportedly free, with rumors of promised gifts or items. However, these rumors remained unconfirmed. Sadly, the stampede resulted in the loss of 35 young lives, with 6 children currently undergoing treatment.
So time yẹn Oríyọmí wá kọjá Àgídìgbò bó ṣe wá kọjá so àwọn èèyàn ṣáà pariwo máa yẹn wá padà lọ kò pẹ́ là ń gbọ́ lórí station tó ń pariwo pé àwọn ò ṣe pátí mọ́ pé àwọn èèyàn táwọn need ó ti tó bọ́ kán tó wọ́n ṣe ń dé àwọn èèyàn ṣáà fi mọ́tò wọ́n fi ń kó wọn wá.
Èrò mọ́tò wo ló fi ń ká àwọn èèyàn? Wọ́n
fi fẹ́ǹsà gbé wọn wá wọ́n lo Highlander oríṣiríṣi mọ́tò travel mọ́tò tó ń lọ sí Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ so kò pẹ́ lẹ́yìn ìgbà yẹn láṣàrí tí wọ́n lọ sí gate pé Oríyọmí ti dé èmi ò mọ̀ bóyá inú gate náà gbà wọlé or anywhere wọ́n ṣe sí gate àwọn àgbàlagbà ìròyìn ti pọ̀ jù wọ́n ṣàn tẹ àwọn ọmọ mọ́lẹ̀.
ọmọ mi ò tí pọ̀ ọmọ 20 years ó kọ́ ọmọ 4 5 dání kí ló fẹ́ fi bọ́ ọ kò sí kírú ẹ̀ má ṣẹlẹ̀ kó dẹ̀ ní kọ̀ọ̀kan ọmọ yẹn kú 99% wọn tọ́mọ wọn kú kì í ṣe pé wọ́n kí ẹ̀ tó yẹn kì í ṣe bí àwọn tó wá sùn ṣe nǹkan kan wọn kí ẹ̀ tó yẹn o ẹnìkan ní láti máa sọ fún èmi wípé àti bíi 5 lòun ti gbọ́ news ipe káwọn máa wá pé ṣùgbọ́n òun náà débẹ̀ ẹni tí ọkàn ẹ̀ bá balẹ̀ kò ní dìde kó máa bọ̀ ńbẹ̀ kò ní wọ́ kò possible federal government ní kó wá nǹkan ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ kì í ṣe àwọn tó ṣe nǹkan kan kò níhùn pé wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń ṣe nǹkan kan but iṣẹ́ yẹn ti pọ̀ jù ọ̀fẹ́ dẹ̀ tún ni but tí federal government bá wá nǹkan tí oúnjẹ bá wálẹ̀ gidi ráìsì gangan láyé ń jẹ jù.
The organizers of the event, including ex-Queen Naomi Shilekwala and publicist Oriyomi Hamzat of Agidigbo FM, have been arrested alongside the school's principal, Mr. Fasasi Abdullahi. Despite reports that approval for the event came from the Ministry of Education, the school has been locked down with no one present at the site. This tragic incident is the latest in the series of stampedes across the country, resulting in the loss of 67 lives within 4 days. Many attributed these incidents to the escalating cost of living in Nigeria.
And when they had maybe a free food anyway, everybody will go. So it's poverty and the high cost of living.
Nǹkan tó yẹn bá fẹ́ ṣe tó yẹn bá wò pé bóyá èèyàn thousands ni mo fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan báyìí fún bóyá kéèyàn reduce ẹ̀ ọ̀ kéèyàn dẹ̀ lọ àkọ́kọ́ tó pàtàkì jù nísìnyí pé ibi tọ́rọ̀ ilé ìdúró báyìí ó dáa kéèyàn lọ gbà approval tó gba approval á ní fún security máa wà fún àwọn nǹkan yìí láti ṣe.
ìyẹn ò mẹ́rin wàhálà tó pọ̀ ń lù àìríjẹ àrímu òṣì tó pọ̀ ló máa ń èèyàn pọ̀ lọ bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti sọ pé kí wọ́n rí nǹkan kan fi sẹ́nu.
As the nation mourns the loss of these young lives, there is a growing call for the federal government to address the issues of hunger and its underlying causes to prevent such tragedies from occurring in the future. In Ibadan, Oyo State, for News Central, I am Igbalani Omani.
Quite a disheartening situation. Thank you, Igbalani, for that report. Now, still on this, authorities on Sunday say the death toll from the stampede in Anambra State has risen to 22. Spokesman for the Anambra State Police Command, Tochukwu Ikenga, said the police have commenced an investigation into the incident. Ikenga, a superintendent of police, said those who sustained injuries are receiving medical treatment. The stampede took place on Saturday during a rice distribution event at Amaranta Stadium in Ojika, Ihiala local government area. The event was organized by Obi Jackson Foundation. Now, the Anambra stampede was not the first to happen of recent, as the nation had previously recorded deaths from Abuja and Oyo stampedes in December. Shortly before the Anambra incident, another stampede occurred at the Holy Trinity Catholic Church in Maitama, Abuja, where 10 persons died. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, the Nigeria Police Force has denied allegations by Amnesty International in its recent report titled Bloody August, Nigeria Government's Violent Crackdown on #EndBadGovernance protests, which claimed that approximately 24 persons were killed by the police across 6 northern states of the country. Now, the force public relations officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, while responding to the allegations, says that the Inspector General of Police had initially ordered a comprehensive and independent investigation into the claims, but found out that the allegations by Amnesty International are false and misleading. He says that the 3 deaths in Borno State, which Amnesty International had attributed to police actions, were actually caused by an explosion which was unrelated to the protests.
Claimed on pages 22 and 25 of its report that these 3 individuals died when a hand grenade was thrown into the filling station by a convoy of police vehicles. These allegations are not only false and misleading, but are also a clear attempt to incite the general public against the police and tarnish the image of the Nigerian police force in the eyes of the international community. Reputable sources in Suleja and Tafa areas confirmed that nobody was killed by the police in Niger State on 1st August 2024. It is instructive to note that Amnesty International's claim was based solely on an unverified and disputed report published in Premium Times on 18th August 2024, titled How Police Killed.
We're now being joined by attorney at law, Tunji Abdulhamid from Ilorin. Hello, Tunji. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening.
Good evening. Now, Tunji, Amnesty's report is out, but the police isn't having any of it. How do you avoid a case where it is the word of the police against that of Amnesty International? Just go ahead and share with us.
I am not surprised that the police is denying the reports. I am not surprised at all, and I wasn't expecting them to admit what Amnesty International said. You see, when you see the way and manner police operate in Nigeria, you see that impunity of lack of regard for rule of law, lack of regard for sympathy, human sympathy, lack of regard for fellow human beings. They treat Nigerians like an enemy of the police, so to say. Because sometimes, especially when it has to do with issues that has to do with government, they see them as protecting those in government alone, and not people who have the right to also protest and ask questions from the government. So for me, I'm not surprised that the police is denying that report. But the reality on ground and the daily affair that we see, the engagement of the police does not say so, supports the report of the Amnesty. I cannot also admit or whether or not the end bad governance, there are deaths or not. But I know there are forceful use of force by the police at that time. They even use tear gas. We can see them on TV. I saw, particularly in Abuja, I saw one in Abuja when they gathered at the what's it called, in front of the stadium, and they came and then they dispatched them with the tear gas. And in some other areas like that, there are so many of such attack by the police on the ordinary citizens that are not carrying any harm. I tend to believe the report of the Amnesty International.
All right, now,
as against that of the police.
Amnesty said that 24 persons were killed across, 6 northern states. And, whether they were that number was killed or not, many would actually agree that it was indeed a bloody August. Now, do you think that, 24 is too high a figure, or is it that no one at all was killed during the protests?
We cannot categorically confirm that, but having regard to the report of Amnesty, I think if Amnesty International is saying so, they must have their own report and they must have the evidence. I don't believe that they will come and lie to us that people died when nobody died. You recall, this is the way manner the police denied what happened at the toll gates in 2019 or so. And at the end of the day, the report of the investigative report set up by the governor said otherwise. But they were asking people to bring out the corpses of those who are dead. How do you get that to confirm that what you are saying is true? But for me, I may not be able to sit here and confirm that there are deaths or there are no deaths. But those who gave the reports will not just on their own bring up a report that they cannot justify it. And like I said, I tend to believe the report of Amnesty International than that of the disclaimer by the police.
All right, now I would love for you to share your thoughts because, if Nigerians are not dying, from terrorist attacks, they're either dying during protests or even, of recent food stampedes across Nigeria. So what exactly is the way out?
The easy way out is for people to allow the security agencies to work in line with the rule of law, not to see themselves as above the law. Because what I notice in Nigeria is that most people in our security agencies see themselves as above the law. They have their own way of operation. They disregard the rule of law, and they want to do whatever they want to do. If you see any protests that turn into violence, police are involved. When police are not involved, there won't be violence. It's when police said and that's why you see most of the police that has to do with pro-government. You don't see any report of anybody being chased or any charge that's being used against anybody, because those are pro-government, and in that regard, the police should not be involved in trying to force them to do away with the protest. So it is whenever the police are interested in saying, look, no protest. That's when you see that those results or complaint of use of tear gas or other weapon will be on here. So for me, the way they operate is they need to be professional in their job. When you call yourself police, you are not there for the purpose of those in government. You are not to protect those in authority. But that's why it tends to appear in our country. The police see themselves as protectors of those in government, not those ordinary citizens of Nigeria, and they don't respect the right of the citizens of Nigeria, especially when they are asking for their right under the guarantee by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The right to protest is guaranteed by the Constitution, and everybody has the right to even ask questions and against the government. But when that happens, that's when you see the police issuing an ultimatum or order, asking people or directing people not to come out for any protest or do any of that. And whenever they do, you hear issue of people being tear gas or people being this. So for me, what they need to do is to change the way of operation. In other words, they need to obey the rule of law, do things in line with the law, allow people to hear the freedom of expression. Allow them, as long as they are doing it peacefully, there should not be any attack or anybody. But that's not the case in Nigeria. They don't even want it to happen. They don't want anybody to go against, to ask questions against the government, to even come out and say, look, we are expressing our grievances or we are expressing our displeasure against the government policies. They don't want that. Because they want to play to the gallery, and they want to serve those in government and those in authority so as to get their own promotion or accolades.
Democracy is all about. Right. Well, thank you so much, Tunji, for your time and also for speaking to us on this.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Now, speaking of stampedes, we have a guest to speak to us on the stampede that actually happened in Anambra State on Sunday, where authorities have actually said that the death toll of the stampede on Sunday was or has risen to 22. Let's now join Golden Chukwebuka Ilo. He's a member representing Ihiala 2 State constituency in the Anambra State House of Assembly. Thank you so much for joining us at this time, Golden.
Hello?
If you can hear me, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so now can you go ahead and share your thoughts on the circumstances that led to the stampede and what the situation is at the moment?
Please come again.
Would love for you to share your thoughts on the circumstances surrounding the stampede that happened in Anambra State and what the situation is at the moment.
Actually, the stampede is more like a domestic accident. Is actually caused by the good intention of the Obi Jackson Foundation, who actually want to extend goodwill of palliative rice to many people. But then, because there's hunger in the system, I believe, the people had to come in before the time planned for the sharing, and it led to stampede. because every information and every arrangement made with the police and the vendors and everything was that the sharing will kick off by 8 o'clock. But surprisingly, people had to start coming even in the middle of the night before the day. So before you know it, even while the vendors are still bringing in chairs and a lot of provisions made for the safety and security of the process, the stampede kickoff. And so the security agencies and the organizers had to wade in immediately and take care of the situation. But then a lot of lives was lost in the process.
All right, but the death toll, as of now stands at 22. Now, is that correct from your own assessment? And also, how specifically are local recovery efforts, being coordinated? And I'm asking, because you are the lawmaker of that particular local government area, I'm asking, who have you spoken to? Have you spoken to the governor, the police, commissioner of police, or the IGP? What specific measures are being put in place to prevent a similar incident from happening?
Actually, immediately the incident occurred, people, the arrangements of the foundation, the Good Spirited Foundation, had to took people to various hospitals for possible recovery, but eventually a lot of lives were lost. And like you said, the years 22 lives basically is lost. And since then, I've been able to, I've spoken with the Igwe, I've spoken with the PG, I've spoken with the area command, and even the CP and the government is already in the full knowledge of what has happened, because it's just like an accident that took place immediately and also controlled. But before being controlled, something or life is lost already. So I think every other measures to make sure that such thing didn't escalate or didn't continue has been taken already.
All right, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we condole with you and the people of Ihiala on this devastating incident. Away from that, with the festive season in full swing, transportation parks across the country are experiencing a surge in activity. In Abuja's Jabi Motor Park, located within the federal capital, travelers say the rise in transportation fares is biting hard on their budgets. News Central's Joshua Marai takes a closer look at the impact on commuters and transport operators alike.
Jabi Motor Park in Abuja's Municipal Area Council is bustling with activity as travelers depart the capital for various destinations. Typically less crowded, the park is now filled with Nigerians eager to take the journey back home in order to spend the Yuletide with their families and loved ones. Among them is Timmy Edwards, who, like many others, is contending with the increase in bus fares.
Like I said earlier this week, it was, I think, I was going to Lokoja, it was 7,500, and today is 9,200. And tomorrow is still going to go, it's going to go more than this later.
These fares increases, though common during festive periods, are adding to the challenges faced by travelers like Joy Akko. She knows that the rise in petrol prices compared to other years has directly impacted the cost of interstate transportation.
Because of the increase in the fuel price, everything has hiked up. So the prices are way too high, but what can one do? Before, normally it used to be like 9,000, but I think presently now they say it's 13,000.
Speaking to one of the drivers at the motor park, he gives reasons why he thinks there is an increase in the price of interstate transportation fares.
During Christmas season, we are getting plenty more passenger, and some passenger will carry plenty goods, as what you see by yourself. Now, because of the fuel price, that is why the transport money was increased.
As the festive season approaches, the combination of rising petrol prices and increased passenger demand continues to impact transportation costs, leaving travelers to navigate these challenges as they journey to reunite with their loved ones. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
As Nigerians brace for the annual Christmas and New Year celebrations, the issue of escalating transport costs has once again taken center stage, with many citizens unable to afford the inflated fares for long-distance travel. Amid this crisis, the Borno State government's decision to offer free transportation to Christians traveling home for the holidays in the south, east, and other parts of Nigeria has reignited happiness to many. News Central's Umaru Kirawa completes the report.
It is that time of the year where Christians across the globe travel home to celebrate Christmas and New Year festivity with loved ones. Transport fares for buses, trains and flights usually surge in this season, with many travelers in major cities like Lagos and Abuja reporting that prices have nearly doubled compared to last year.
Just going to be here. That one used to go 6,500, now to 4,500 even. Now it's 9,000. So it doesn't matter. Let the price keep going up. People will survive, but let the government do something about it. This subsidy should come back. This subsidy, they should bring it back. Let those that are consuming, let them consume it.
So it's very difficult for people to travel now because of many things that is happening. So moving to eat food, they don't have.
Gloria Oji and Ngozi Mohammed in Nigeria's Borno State queue up among hundreds of travelers to gain access to a free ticket to travel back home Anambra State to celebrate the season with loved ones.
It's season, I have to go home, but I will miss Maiduguri because it is a peaceful state. It's unique. I love Maiduguri. In fact, I will miss Maiduguri. After the festive season, I'll be coming back.
The governor has been so kind to us for this free transport that he gives our people.
Other travelers and leadership of both the Igbos, Yoruba, among other ethnic groups who were opportune to access the free travels, have this to say.
Considering the situation of the country now, most of our people here wouldn't have traveled.
For the past 5 years, Governor Zulum have been doing this, and the people, every non-indigenous in the state is indeed proud of what he has been doing.
Governor Zulum still remember the widows to put smile in their face. Each of them 50,000 naira to do their Christmas. The same people you see that are traveling this morning, each of them will get 50,000 naira to take care of their journey.
The government says it is part of a unifying initiative.
Those that are traveling today, they are part and parcel of Borno State, and inshallah we'll try as much as possible to see to it that they go home safely.
The Borno State free transport gesture has no doubt eased the burden of travel cost for some of the Christian community traveling to celebrate the season of happiness with their loved ones. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
Obulo-Okiti community in Anyo-Cha South local government area of Delta State, South Nigeria, has requested that the state governor, Sheriff Oborewari, and other relevant authorities intercede with the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, concerning the alleged arrest and disappearance of 3 notable men from the community resulting from a land-related feud between Obulo-Okiti community and Ogwashiuku Kingdom. News Central correspondent Austin Azu, who is monitoring the land dispute development between both communities, brings us details.
The Obulo-Okiti community and the Ogwashiuku Kingdom are embroiled in protracted land disputes, which led to angry youth chasing away Zone 5 police officers from Benin City, Edo State, stationed in the bush to prevent loggers from cutting down the economic trees and cash crops a few days ago. Though the state government has said a panel of inquiry has been set up and is almost ready with the white paper presentation. In a surprising turn of events, 3 prominent individuals from Obulo-Okiti community were reportedly arrested in the community in the dead of the night by an alleged police squad from Zone 5. The families of those arrested described how the alleged arrest was executed in a commando-style operation involving the forced breakage of their doors, destruction of windows, and the coerced removal of their husbands and kinsmen, along with their personal belongings.
I just hear, boy,
Boy, open the door. You will take it for us. Open the door, open the door. I said, oh God, wait now. My dress up. Before I then break this one, enter inside the center room, scatter everywhere. They just break the door, slap me, hit me for here. Then I come out, shouting, please everybody come out too, come out. I don't know those people that come and beat my husband though. They just carry him, enter inside motor, drove off.
When I'm sleeping, when I hear "Bua," I say, what is happening? I have to stand up. So immediately I just sneak out, watch. It becomes my other brother's place. I have to turn around if I will alert people. So I continue making calls. So along the line, the next time I'm hearing "Bua, bua," come out there, but the sienna here is about 3. I look here, people are too much. There's nothing I can do.
Like all those damages, my laptop, I need my laptop back, and the ATM card. They took my dad. After they took my mom showed them where he is. Then they entered inside. According to them, they said they climbed through the gate. They climbed through the gate, opened it. Then they took my dad. Then they now released my mom. Now told her to start coming back. According to them, they said they've taken him to Benin, Zone 5.
A community leader and chief who alleged that the Obi of Ogwachku Kingdom was responsible for the arrest and connected to the land ownership tussle appealed to the state governor, Sheriff Oborewori, and other relevant authorities to urge the Inspector General of Police to release their people and restore permanent peace to the disputed land between both communities.
Nobody sleeps in his house, so we don't sleep again. We sleep in the bush outside our house. So let government know what they're going to do for us. We don't know whether to fight them. If we fight them, we become against government.
Attempts to collaborate the alleged arrest from Zone 5 Benin City were unsuccessful, as all messages and phone calls to the zone's mouthpiece failed to generate feedback. Reporting from Obolokiti for News Central, I'm Austin Azu.
Cyclone Chido has claimed the lives of at least 94 people in Mozambique, with over 110,000 homes destroyed. The storm's impact has been devastating, with over 620,000 people affected, mostly in the northern province of Cabo Delgado. The cyclone brought strong winds of up to 260 kilometers per hour and heavy rainfall of 250 millimeters in just one day. Mozambique is already grappling with a post-election crisis, with opposition allegations of electoral fraud. The disaster has also affected other countries, including Mayotte, where 35 people have been reported dead, and Malawi, where 13 people lost their lives. Ivory Coast opposition leader Tijani Thiam has raised concerns over the low voter registration rate ahead of the country's presidential election, scheduled for less than a year from now. Addressing supporters at a rally, Thiam criticized the low rate of registration on the electoral roll, describing it as significant weakness in the nation's democratic process. He called for an urgent revision of the voter register to ensure a more inclusive and credible electoral process. Thiam's comments come as the country prepares for a pivotal election, which calls for transparency and broader participation intensifying.
Qu'une des faiblesses majeures de notre démocratie est le faible taux d'enrôlement de nos populations sur les listes électorales. Non. Mais la loi impose au gouvernement d'effectuer une RLE annuelle. Nous exigeons donc maintenant une RLE en 2025 et idéalement en février. Tout le monde.
On world wrap, Russian President Vladimir Putin has promised to bring destruction to Ukraine in retaliation for a drone attack on the central Russian city of Kazan. The attack, which Ukraine has not commented on, hit a luxury apartment block and set off fireballs, but caused no reported casualties. Putin's threat comes as Russia claims fresh advances on the battlefield in East Ukraine, including the capture of 2 villages. The escalation in violence has raised concerns about the nearly 3-year conflict, with Russia accelerating its advance across eastern Ukraine in recent months.
кто бы и как бы ни старался у нас чего-то разрушить, он столкнется с многократно большими разрушениями у себя за это и пожалеет еще о том, что он пытается сделать у нас в стране. Но, Рустам Нургалевич, я уверен, вы восстановите.
In business, the Nigerian government has announced the lifting of the 5-year ban on mining exploration in Zamfara State. Lekon Obanjo has the details and other stories in this business package.
The federal government of Nigeria has officially lifted the ban on mining exploration in Zamfara State over 5 years after the restriction was imposed due to security concerns. This decision comes on the back of significant improvements in the security situation across the state, marking a critical step towards reviving Zamfara's vast mineral potential. Announcing the development at a press briefing, the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, underscored the economic importance of the state, which is home to abundant deposits of gold, lithium, and copper. While acknowledging the necessity of the 2019 ban to address the ties between illegal mining and banditry, Alake noted that it inadvertently created opportunities for illegal activities that drained national resources. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has criticized the 2025 federal budget, describing it as inadequate to address Nigeria's structural challenges and a recipe for economic stagnation. In a statement released via its official social media account, Atiku noted that 48 trillion naira budget with a revenue forecast of 35 trillion naira and a deficit exceeding 13 trillion naira represents a continuation of business as usual fiscal practices by the APC-led administration. The 2025 budget proposes over 13 trillion naira in new borrowings, including 9 trillion naira in direct borrowing and 4 trillion naira in project-specific loans. Atiku argued that this approach mirrors previous administrations and exacerbates public debt, increasing risks related to interest payments and foreign exchange exposure. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, says the price of petrol will drop to 935 naira per litre by Monday in view of Dangote Refinery's new arrangement. IPMAN said the new price was necessitated by the reduction in Dangote Refinery's fuel ex-depot price and uniform arrangement, which would enable marketers to sell at 935 naira in their outlets nationwide. Megandi Gadima, IPMAN national president, who made this known on Sunday in an interview in Abuja, lauded the Dangote Refinery for the developments. Dangote Refinery recently announced a significant reduction in fuel price by 7.27% from 970 naira per litre to 899 naira 50 kobo per litre at its loading gantry and provided generous credit terms to marketers. Finally, South Africa's biggest farm industry lobby said a probe into the statistics agency's methods showed that agriculture hadn't contracted as much as reported this year and called for a reform of the calculations. Agri-SA asked the Bureau for Food and Agricultural Policy to review Statistics SA's data after the agency said the farming sector contracted 15.5% in the first 9 months of the year and 28.8% in the third quarter, the most in 3 decades. That triggered an unexpected contraction of 0.3% in the nation's overall quarterly economic performance relative to the prior 3 months. BFAP's analysis released on Friday showed the farming industry has shrunk about 5% to 6% so far this year, and that Statistics South Africa should consider an upward revision of about 10.8 billion rand, that's about $590 million for agricultural gross domestic product after accounting for inflation. And that's all on business news. I am Lekon Onobanjo.
And in sports, Super Eagles B team have held Ghana's Black Galaxies to a goalless draw in the first leg of the 2024 CHAN qualifiers in Accra. Favor Itua has more.
And in sport, The National Sports Commission, NSC, has unveiled 14-year-old gymnastics sensation Stephanie Ogechukwu Onusuriuka as part of its elite athlete program ahead of the 2028 Olympics. Dubbed Nigeria's Simone Biles, Onusuriuka's impressive track record includes gold at the 2021 National Sports Festival and the 2023 National Youth Games, where she was crowned the best gymnast. Currently training at the Leeds Gymnastics in the UK, Onusuriuka's future is being closely monitored to ensure her allegiance to Nigeria. The National Sports Commission has pledged to support her career development, including sponsorship and private sector backing. Plans are underway for her to compete in the 2026 Commonwealth Games and target Olympic success in 2028. And now to football. Shooting Stars Football Club secured a crucial 1-0 victory over Enugu Rangers in a thrilling match day 18 encounter of the Nigeria Premier Football League. Ikolwem Otin's 27-minute strike proved decisive, handing the Ibadan-based side their second away win of the season and ending Rangers' impressive 10-match unbeaten streak. The victory pushed Shooting Stars into the third on the log with 30 points. Elsewhere, Abia Warriors cruised past Ikorodu City with a 2-0 win, while Remo Stars regained their spot at the top of the table with a dominant 2-0 victory over Bayelsa United. Nassau United shared the spoils with Rivers United in a 1-1 draw at home. Match day 18 showcased the league's unpredictability as the season edges closer to the end of the first round. Still talking football, Nigeria Super Eagles B team held Ghana Black Galaxies to a goalless draw in the first leg of their 2024 CHAN qualifiers on Sunday at the Accra Sports Stadium. The home-based squad battled intensely, but both sides struggled to create clear chances in the first half. Ghana, led by coach Mas Didi Dramani, applied pressure in search of a breakthrough, but Nigeria's defense remained resolute. The second half mirrored the first with tenacity and defensive discipline, overshadowing offensive sharpness. The result leaves everything to play for in the second leg, set for the 28th of December at the Gosul Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo, Nigeria. The winner of the tie will secure a spot in the 2025 CHAN tournament, with both teams eager to claim qualification. And now to continental football, title holders Al Ahly delivered a commanding 6-1 victory over CR Belouizdad in the CAF Champions League group stage on Sunday. Wessam Abu Ali's hat-trick led the charge at the Cairo International Stadium, where Al Ahly overcame an early setback after Amien Mahios gave the visitors a 21st-minute lead. Abu Ali equalized before halftime and added 2 brilliant goals in the second half, including a free kick and a long-range strike. Hussein El Shahat, Pesitao, and Emma Ashau also scored, sealing Al Ahly's biggest win of the group stage. The victory moved Al Ahly to the top of Group C with 7 points, while Belouizdad remained third and faced a tough challenge in the return leg. And to wrap up sports update, Tyson Fury faces calls for an all-British showdown with Anthony Joshua following his unanimous point defeat to Alexander Usyk in Riyadh. Fury, beating 116 to 112 on all scorecard, has now lost twice to Usyk, who retained his WBA, WBC, and WBO heavyweight titles. Despite the setback, promoter Eddie Hearn insists the Fury-Joshua clash at Wembley remains the biggest fight in British boxing, even with Joshua also coming off a loss to Daniel Dubois. Fury expressed uncertainty about his future, while Usyk impressed by outpunching the heavier and taller Fury. Fury's promoter Frank Warren criticized the judge's decision, but Fury acknowledged the outcome, stating he did his best and will now focus on spending time with his family. And that wraps it up on Sports Update. I'm Favor Itua.
And that's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of our major stories. We told you that IG of Police has ordered a probe into stampedes in Abuja and Anambra that have killed scores. We also told you that Christian Association of Nigeria worried over troubling pattern of stampedes across Nigeria. Finally, you heard that death toll from cyclone has risen to 94 in Mozambique. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Darshan Usman.